to do news conferences. Those are the headlines. Now the news in detail. Governors under the umbrella of the Southern Governors Forum have rejected the petroleum industry bill passed by the National Assembly last week. This was contained in a communique released after their closed-door meeting in Lagos yesterday.
We have found that commitment to the unity of Nigeria on the pillar of equity, fairness, justice, progress, and peaceful coexistence between and amongst its people. The forum reiterates its commitment to the qualities of equity, fairness, and unanimously agreed that the presidency of Nigeria be located within Southern and Northern Nigeria and resolve that the next president of Nigeria should emerge from the South.
Meanwhile, human rights lawyer Femi Falana has described the decision of the Southern governors that security agencies must notify them as the chief security officer of their states before they carry out any operation within their domain as late. Falana said the governors are chief security officers of their states in line with the Constitution, adding that each state has a security council and the governor is the chairman. Falana criticized the raid on Sunday Igboho's home by the operatives of the Department of State Services.
No, there is no law in Nigeria that allows you to arrest anybody in the dead of the night. I mean, you are not planning a coup. We are not armed robbers. I mean, and I did say this when the judges were arrested. If you are going to arrest a judge, as they did in 2016, what stops you from staying around the premises? Or you want to be sure, oh, the man is not going to escape. You stay around the premises. If he's going to drive out, you just simply accost him. Your lordship, your attention is needed. We must be civilized. These are very dangerous legacies of military dictatorship in our country. There is no provision. Unless a crime is being committed in the night, you cannot go there and arrest. In this case, you are required by law to have a warrant of arrest, a search warrant. There was no search warrant. They searched. Nobody took an inventory. Now, my son the other man said, no, I didn't have any gun in my house. Yet the SSS is parading guns and other ammunition. So all the controversy will have been unnecessary. If the SSS had behaved like a modern civilized agency.
The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Abubakar Malami, SAN, has refuted claims from some quarters that he authored a derogatory post on Igbos and Hausas. A statement issued by Umar Gwandu, his special assistant on media and public relations, said that Malami did not write or contemplate such a post. According to Gwandu, the grammatical flaws, apparent illogicalities and divisionary tendencies, as well as lack of respect to diversity and humanity, makes it palpably incongruous to believe that the post was from Malami. He added that it was instructive to note that fact check conducted by some media organizations proved that attributing the derogatory post to Malami was not only defamatory but also fictitious. Now, the federal government has declared that attacks on police stations, Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC offices, and destruction of critical public infrastructure and facilities should not be considered as vandalism but a form of terrorism. It lamented that government's efforts were being frustrated by those it described as unpatriotic citizens through wanton destruction of critical infrastructure, thereby depriving Nigerians of enjoying such infrastructure. Consequently, the federal government has threatened to do everything within its power to stop the destruction of public infrastructure and facilities by exposing, arresting, and prosecuting those who steal or buy stolen items. Speaking at a town hall meeting on protection of public infrastructure organized by the Ministry of Information and Culture in Abuja, the minister, Lai Mohammed, lamented that critical infrastructure being developed by government were being destroyed.
Sensitize communities, especially those where infrastructure are located, to be conscious of the import of such and protect them. C. Expose, arrest, and prosecute all those who engage in buying pilfered infrastructure items, along with those who bring such to them to sell.
The Kaduna State government has ordered the immediate closure of 13 schools located in areas that have been identified as vulnerable to attacks by bandits. This followed Monday's bandits' attack on Bethel Baptist School in Chikun local government area of Kaduna State, where an unspecified number of students were kidnapped. The directive, which was issued by the Director General of Quality Assurance Authority in the State Ministry of Education, Umar Ahmed, to proprietors of private schools, said the closure is with immediate effect. Kaduna has been experiencing a series of attacks by bandits, with educational institutions considered as soft targets. Monday's attack was the fourth mass school kidnapped in Kaduna State since December. Now, the Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, Ambassador Miriam Katagum, has reportedly slumped during an official engagement in Bauchi State yesterday. Katagum was attending an empowerment program, which is the flag-off and official commissioning of Bauchi State Office for the implementation of the Nigeria Agribusiness and Agro-Industry Development Initiative, NADI, at shopping plazas in Bauchi. Eyewitnesses at the event said she suddenly collapsed while delivering her speech. She was immediately rushed to the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University Teaching Hospital, Bauchi, for medical attention. No official statement has been released by the government yet, but some government officials said that she's now stable. Sources also confirmed that she complained about feeling unwell before the program started, and there are indicators that she was stressed out. An atmosphere of intellectual engagement awaits again as the Splash FM 14th anniversary holds tomorrow, Wednesday, 7th July 2021, at the Trenchard Hall, University of Ibadan. The annual lecture, in its 14th edition, is designed to celebrate the 82nd birthday of the founder and proprietor of Splash 105.5 FM and Lagelu 96.7 FM, Chief Adebayo Akonde, MFR, Abese Olubadan of Ibadan land, and the 14th anniversary of the first independent radio station in Oyo State, Splash 105.5 FM. And historian, scholar, and head Department of History, University of Ibadan, Professor Olutayo Adeshino is the keynote speaker on the subject, In Search of a Nigerian Dream, while business mogul Chief Orikolade Kola Karim Agbauye of Ibadan land is the chairman of the occasion. Guests are expected to be seated by 11 a.m. On Thursday, 8th July 2021, a friendly football match will hold between Team Splash FM versus Team NUJ at the Leeds City Stadium as part of the activities. You're still listening to the news on Splash 105.5 FM. Now turning to the foreign scene. Tropical storm Elsa is moving north towards the Florida Keys after causing devastation in the Caribbean. More than 100,000 people in Cuba were evacuated before Elsa hit on Monday, causing mudslides and flooding rains. In the days before, the storm passed over the Dominican Republic and St. Lucia, killing 3 people. Officials in Florida have said they are very hopeful that they would not have to pause rescue efforts at the site of a collapsed building in Miami. The demolition of the partially collapsed apartment block had been brought forward for fear that Elsa might topple the building in an uncontrolled way. The storm is expected to approach the Florida Keys today. Now, Israel's parliament has failed to pass an extension to a controversial law barring Palestinians from the occupied West Bank or Gaza who marry Israelis from being granted citizenship rights. After a debate that lasted through the night, the vote was tied 59-59. It was the first major political test for Prime Minister Naftali Bennett's coalition since it took office in June. The legislation, which critics say is discriminatory, is now due to expire at the end of today. Mr. Bennett set up the vote on the citizenship law as a vote of confidence in his new ideologically diverse government, which includes left-wing, centrist, right-wing, and Arab parties. Finally, in sports, tennis star Naomi Osaka said she wants to be on top form at the Olympics and will take part in press conferences after pulling out of several tournaments, citing her struggles with depression and anxiety. The world number 2 said she was getting ready to play on home turf at the pandemic-postponed Tokyo Games after having withdrawn from Wimbledon and the French Open. Osaka set off a debate about mental health in June after abandoning her French Open campaign just one match in over a dispute on media duties. The Japanese player has said post-match news conferences were detrimental to her mental health and likened them to kicking people when they're down. She later revealed her battle with depression and anxiety in a post on social media, saying she wanted to take time away from the game to get better. Opponents in the Copa America final and is confident the hosts would come out on top against their fierce rivals. Brazil piped Peru 1-0 in yesterday's semi-final in Rio de Janeiro thanks to a 35th minute goal from Lucas Paqueta to book their spot in Saturday's decider at the Maracana Stadium. The second semi-final between Argentina and Colombia will hold today. Just before we go, a recap of the headlines. Southern governors have rejected PIB passed by National Assembly listed demands. Kaduna government has ordered immediate closure of 13 schools over insecurity. On the foreign scene, Cuba has reels as storm moves towards Florida. In sports, Naomi Osaka, preparing for Olympics, agreed to do news conferences. For more details on the news, visit our website on www.splashfm1055.com. Now you can download the Splash FM mobile app on iOS, BlackBerry World, and Google Play Store to listen live, get news, update, opinion poll, and also report an event live to us through the iReport feature. To download, simply go to any of the stores mentioned and search for Splash FM 105.5, then click to download. We have now come to the end of the news on Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station, and the best radio station in the southwest of the country. The news editor is Tunde Olawuwu, assisted by Chinwe Churchill. I'm Ronke Giwa Onafuwa. Good afternoon and thank you for listening.
Quick, charge at 240.
Hot news, cool vibes, sports, and more on the Integrity Station. We educate, that's why we are respected. We inform, that's why we are loved. More music, we are the best. The Integrity Station. Splash, splash.
105.5.
We've got the city on lockdown.
Got my own city that I hold down.
We are Splash 105.5.
From the top of the Fisher Building.
This is
Detroit's number one hit music station.
Splash 105.5 FM, your Integrity Station.
Your station. Here is
105.5.
From the very beginning, we just saw the world differently than everyone else. This was made obvious in all we do.
that didn't sit well with some people.
What's our plan?
Our plan is to keep going up and not just go up, but stay at the very top. We are your favorite radio station, Splash 105.5 FM.
If it's up, then it's stuck. If it's up, then it's up, then it's up.
105.5, The Splash.
See, boy. Fine boy, when you did you. Ay, ala. Moya mata, ide skata. I dey salute your body like you weka. Kiye. Akata, muti for fine pata. And I no go fit to let you go, my ya. Kiyo, eh. Do they do me one kind, baby? You they do me one kind. You dey tatari me sometime, baby. Tatari me sometime. My Chanel, now you are go follow. My Chanel, oh my mono me do. My Chanel, we go there tomorrow from Tokyo to Hiro. My Chanel, now you are go follow. Now Chanel, we go there tomorrow. My Chanel, oh my mono me do. I go to Hiro.
matter make a tanana you shine. Now your matter where they pay me shine. If I don't see you, no say wahala day. Wahala day. Igbengbe si bamba. Si digwe yo di bamba. On fi di bamba